A rail journey in the Scottish Highlands. A timber train carrying trees from the hills. Starting at Crianlarich on its 63-mile journey, the train moves northwest into lonely country and on to Bridge of Orchy and Rannochmoor. Each day, a trainload of specially constructed wagons, 20 in all, carries 350 tons of logs, 60,000 tons a year, from the Scottish forests to Corpack near Fort William. The West Highland Line is on its own here. Up until the opening of the pulp mill, it was not fully used and in danger of being closed. Today, the payloads are greater than at any time in the history of the line, and so its future is more secure. A fine use of railway in this environment-conscious age. Trainloads relieving the roads of many lorries and helping passenger travel to survive on this picturesque line. The pulp mill has given a boost to industry and revitalized the life of the district. From timber to concrete, another example of the continuous flow of freight. Pre-stressed concrete beams for a new motorway viaduct for Basildon Development Corporation in Essex. From the factory at Tallington in Lincolnshire, right to the door, as it were. Another spectacular journey by freight is now occurring regularly between Mountfield near Battle in Sussex and Northfleet, Kent, on the Thames estuary. Gypsum is mined at Mountfield. Crushed to gravel-like proportions, the mineral is conveyed 1.5 miles up through the Sussex soil and then tumbled onto the train, 17 wagon loads at a time. Daily, the train sets off on its 50-mile journey through the Sussex Weald and away up to Kent. This is a stretch of line with sharp curves and steep gradients. And in the days before fully braked trains, the driver needed very special skill to draw these heavy loads. Even today, with up to 500 tons per trainload in tow, you have to watch how you go as you run down into Tunbridge. There are plans for 9 train journeys a week. At Northfleet, a merry-go-round siding circuit and reception siding have been installed. Incoming trains discharge their contents into hoppers while still in motion. And within 2 hours of arrival, they're on their way back to the south to collect the next load of gypsum, a vital ingredient in cement manufacture. And now to the world of electronics. This is a rail testing train which uses ultrasonic eyes to detect and record hidden flaws in the metal of the permanent way. Travelling at 20 miles an hour, the scanning probes are carried on a trolley between the wheels. They slide along the surface of the rail on a thin film of water, which acts as lubricant and conductor. Using the principle of high-frequency sound, signals from the probes are monitored and then recorded on film. There are 5 monitors to each rail, receiving photographs, as it were, of the subject from different angles. The film camera is driven by the vehicle's guide wheel, which in turn is controlled by the operator. The probes are controlled from the driver's cab. Here, a panel contains numbers which are selected to correspond to the quarter-mile posts on the side of the track. These are recorded on the film and thus identify exactly the section of track being tested. After the film has been developed at the laboratory, It is sent to be scrutinized at the Paddington Evaluation Centre. The visual pattern created by the original sound readings is easily understood. When a defect is observed, its position is pinpointed from the quarter-mile post indicators. This gap in the graph is a burn in the rail surface, probably caused by wheel slip. By this method, entire rail routes can be ultrasonically tested in a matter of days, up to 100 miles a shift. Over to Canterbury, where electronics are being used in a new device for level crossings. As trains approach Canterbury West Station, they operate a treadle between the track. What does it do? The signal box is some 400 yards away from St Dunstan's level crossing, which is difficult for the signalman to see directly when operating the barriers. The treadle has switched on a television closed-circuit unit, which will show the signalman what is happening at the crossing. At the same time, a warning sound attracts his attention to the monitor. Now he can lower the barriers and check on his screen as he does so. There are two other such installations in service now. At one, the signal box is 4 miles from the crossing. Gone are the days of cumbersome gates, slow to operate, and therefore creators of traffic bottlenecks. Today, with warning lights, barriers and television, delays are shortened and safety is fully maintained. From safety for the public to information for the public. This is Eastleigh near Southampton. In the signal box, a panel controls loudspeaker announcements up to 15 miles away to 7 stations. For announcements at Eastleigh itself, on arrivals and departures, a tape recorder is used and triggered off at the press of a button.
Will be the intercity service from Bournemouth to Waterloo, calling at Winchester, Basingstoke, Woking and Waterloo. Passengers...
For announcements on train alterations, the information is given by the operator himself. He can speak to each station individually, or to all stations, or just to one platform.
Here is a special announcement for passengers waiting for the London train.
Thus, the travelling public is kept in immediate touch with what is happening to their
In the
trains.
Southampton area.
They are informed by the man at the source of all information in the signal box itself. A lot of travelling folk move along the motorways nowadays. However, if you place your station in the right spot, in this case near an intersection of the M4 and M5, the chances are that they will be tempted wisely to go by train. Bristol Parkway Station on the Western Region is indeed a station for motorists, with parking space for 600 cars. The motorist can step straight onto British Rail's intercity network. He can, for example, leave here at 8 a.m. and be in Aberdeen the same evening. He has a choice of 25 trains a day to and from London, and of 6 to and from Birmingham and the north. Or he can go to South Wales or Devon and Cornwall. The station lies on the crossroads of rail routes leading from London to South Wales and from the north to the southwest. Soon the new very high-speed service from London to the west will pass here, a further encouragement for the motorist to park his car. Soon after it opened, Richard Marsh, chairman of British Rail, visited the station and talked of its anticipated success.
We thought we would get an increase in traffic because it's a station built deliberately with the roads in mind and built in conjunction with them. This accounts for the 15% of people who are new passengers travelling on the railways. There are all sorts of lessons in it. It's about the first station we've built since nationalisation And if you spend money, then people will use the railways.
And now an example of the railway train being used in the service of education. The Confederation of British Industries recently acquired a train for a period of months in order to enable industrialists and executives to face up to the problems and take advantage of the opportunities arising from our joining the European Economic Community. Specially designed rooms within the coaches were equipped with television and film equipment. The 6-hour day of teaching was divided into several sessions on subjects ranging from European industrial relations to coming changes in British taxation. During the tour period, the train moved all over the United Kingdom to some 24 stations, and experts on many subjects accompanied it to introduce and discuss a new and important use of railway facilities. For the scheduled services, the Mark IID passenger coaches on the eastern region have many innovations which provide the passenger with a pleasant journey. All coaches are air-conditioned at a temperature of about 21 degrees centigrade. Seats can be adjusted to suit individual requirements. Double glazed windows are tinted on the outer layer to reduce radiant heat from the sun by 50%, but not the amount of light transmitted. Double glazing, soundproofing and air conditioning, together with the long stretches of continuous rail, enable people to talk or sleep or read or eat more comfortably than in many homes. Public address announcements keep the passenger informed. They're on tape, automatically operated by a device which interprets the mileage from an axle on the train.
Welcome to passengers who join the train at York. We shall be calling at Newcastle, Edinburgh, and certain stations between Edinburgh and Aberdeen.
So modern rail travel improves as the intercity network develops. The main hall at Waverley Station, Edinburgh, was built in 1897, an impressive piece of late Victoriana. Today it has been updated to meet new requirements. The waiting area has underfloor heating and seats for 50 people. The main feature is the travel centre counter, more than 60 feet long. It can contain all the work previously dealt with at 2 booking offices and separate inquiry and reservation offices. Automatic doors make it easy for people burdened with luggage. Not so many porters about these days, and they help in winter to keep the heat in. And having bought your ticket, you can step aboard the Edinburgh-Glasgow intercity train for the 43-minute journey of 47 miles to Glasgow. This is a unique service and is a great improvement on the old one. with trains running every half hour in both directions between Waverley and Queen Street. With a 1,250 horsepower diesel locomotive at each end, these trains chase across country at a cracking 90 miles an hour. Realignment of the track at certain points was needed to achieve this, and now Scotland has one of the finest intercity services in Britain. Even the intercity trains will seem slow in a few years' time when the advanced passenger train comes into service. It is intended for speeds up to 155 miles an hour on existing track. The electro-hydraulic tilting mechanism will ensure complete comfort for the passenger, even when taking curves at such speeds. The experimental version of the train is being developed and tested at the Railway Technical Centre, Derby. Today, more than ever before, the railways are competing with other transport. Airlines and motorways are the challenge. But for the generation now growing up, there can be, if we want it enough, a railway network to provide them and their families with a good, fast, comfortable, space-conserving means of getting about in this ever more crowded island. Meanwhile, we can look with some pride at results already achieved. Freightliner trains, fast-moving and familiar. Intercity trains, the ideal alternative to congested roads. Apart from the trains themselves, the vast amount of new equipment needed to keep this complicated industry of movement in operation. Then there are the men and women with their ability to cope with the new demands of a technological age in a changing world. They are in an industry which is both old and new, necessary in the past, necessary now, and vital to our future.